Breaking news from London. The Metropolitan Police Counter-Terrorism Command has launched an investigation after 3 small improvised explosive devices were received in the mail by 3 different transport hubs across the city. Near these main locations, London City Airport, Heathrow Airport, and the Waterloo train station, which is the city's biggest railway station. Scotland Yard says it's treating the incident as a linked series and are keeping an open mind regarding motives. Joining me live from London is Matt Bradley. Matt, what do we know about this?
Well, Ali, as you mentioned, police are already treating these as an attempted terrorism attack. And that's because they've already referred this to the counterterrorism officers. That's a specialized unit within the British police force. And they're calling these bombs IEDs, or improvised explosive devices. Now, that's a term that a lot of people have been following the Iraq War have been familiar with. It means quite a few different things, but it normally refers to a small bomb that's similar to a landmine. So this all started at around 10 a.m. this morning. The packages arrived first at Heathrow Airport, then at Waterloo Station shortly before noon, and finally, shortly after noon, at London City Airport. Now, that's a major but small airport kind of tucked into the middle of the city. So these are all major transport hubs for Britain's capital. Heathrow is the busiest airport in Europe, but flights and most travel to Waterloo, train travel to Waterloo and flights throughout these airports, they weren't affected. And that's interesting. That's because nobody was killed or injured in these attempted attacks. One of the bombs, the one that was sent to Heathrow Airport, the first one, actually kind of exploded, and it did start a small fire. But it's not clear to Scotland Yard that these bombs were even capable of doing any more damage than just that. So in their statement today, the police said that the bombs appeared capable of igniting just a small fire when opened. So it's not clear exactly what kind of damage this suspect wanted to try to achieve here. And Scotland Yard said the bombs were all sent in white postal bags containing yellow bags that are something like manila envelopes. But regardless of how small these bombs actually are, you got to remember, Ali, that London is a city on edge. It's been struck by multiple deadly terror attacks over the past 3 years, and officials here are on a constant state of near high alert. So today's events are likely to rattle them even more.
Hey, Matt,
Ali?
let me just ask you, are the police saying these are attempted attacks?
Well, they're calling them terrorism. They're bringing the counterterrorism force in there, and they believe they're calling them bombs. They're referring to them as IEDs, as devices, and it's clear to the police and to everybody that they've made their statement to that they are treating these as something like an attempted terror attack, an attempted murder. So it's not clear where this is going to go from here. Obviously, this did very little damage, but it's going to cause a lot of concern among officials here in Britain.
Matt, let me ask you one other question. Do we know, like the pipe bombs that we were seeing here in New York, do we know yet whether these were effective or able to be effective?
Well, Ali, as I mentioned, only the first of those 3 bombs, the one that was sent to an area just outside of Heathrow Airport, that was the only one that actually exploded. And if you call being effective basically burning up and kind of starting a small fire, then it was effective. It actually kind of ignited or detonated or whatever it was supposed to do. What it didn't do is hurt anybody or cause any explosions or cause authorities to have the kind of concern that would make them evacuate the airport or cancel flights or anything like that. There really wasn't any ramifications beyond that. So as far as we can see, this wasn't really a successful terror attack.
Matt, thank you very much. Matt Bradley for us in London. We'll stay on top of the story with you. Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.